Out of all the people from the commentary channel, right? I would never expected TomDark to make a video on a VTuber, like at all. Like I would never ever would have thought that TomDark would make a video on a VTuber. Like honestly, that is the most craziest thing in the entire world, to be honest. And you want to know something? We're gonna go take a look at it because I want to see what he thinks about the what's her name again? I forgot her name. What's her name again, or so from V Shoujo? This girl right here. I don't know what her name is. I don't know why I'm thinking it. I don't know why I'm thinking of a different name or so. Oh well, whatever. I forgot her name. I don't know her name.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I hate VTubers. So when I thought that there was an opportunity to make a 40-minute video document
Froot, right, Apricot, right.
The misdeeds of Froot, I was pretty excited. I was like, yo, a VTuber and a woman? Are you kidding me? My two favorite groups of people? Let's go. I was pretty excited. Well, unfortunately for me, I instead have to make a video about how Asmongold and WestJet are retarded. And also most of Twitter is retarded, but I'm getting kind of ahead of myself. The subject of today's video is Apricot, more commonly known as Froot. She's a VTuber with 400,000 followers on Twitch. She's also signed to V Shoujo, which is a talent agency with a bunch of other very recognizable names like Iron Mouse and Project Melody signed. Once again, I hate all these people, but it doesn't really matter. Froot is...
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna let you know on this. If my friend, remember what I told you guys or so, the story or so, that my friend fucking like would beat his fucking meat for so long or so, and I'll be honest with you, he is basically the opposite. He is basically the opposite gender of Project Melody, you know.
Is a very controversial creator, arguably more controversial than anyone else who's signed to V Shoujo. And there are a lot of reasons for that, including some bad takes she's had in the past, which I can't defend all of her bad takes at all. But the biggest reason that she's in controversy right now is for cheating on her husband when he was deployed in the United States military. She disobeyed...
Wait. I don't really know what controversy she's really in. I don't remember what controversy she was in anyway, so...
a direct order from a commanding officer.
Yeah, caught in 4K.
And for that reason, people are very upset, okay? Now, to understand how this rumor started in the first place, you have to understand that Froot had a small business with her husband at one point where they would sell patches. They're obviously military themed, which is kind of connected to his job, and at the same time, this was kind of a public-facing presence that both of them had. They were both public figures to an extent. So, when the cheating rumor started, people became enraged at the idea that she would cheat on her husband while he is deployed. It's an unfortunate reality for you military guys out there, I'm sorry to say. Shout out to the movie Jarhead if you want any evidence of that. That movie is real life, according to me. Well, Froot's husband made claims on Facebook at one point that she had slept with another man while they were married. Now, she addressed this with a long post explaining the context of the relationship, describing how, while initially the relationship was very good and nice, as time passed, he started acting like an asshole. In her words, he was giving me shit for messing up on even the smallest of things, constantly telling me how much of a terrible person I was, and a lot of other things that, in her words, were emotionally abusive. Now, that is very loaded terminology, but the essence of what she's saying is that he was not very kind to her. He made her depressed. She started drinking, and eventually this ended with her messaging another friend of hers in a manner that was inappropriate, essentially some kind of sexting, flirtatious stuff going on in the Discord DMs. I said some things to my friend that I regret, but that's all that happened. I just said stupid things. My husband was willing to forgive me. He mentioned that he himself had actually cheated on his ex-wife, the woman he married before me, but said that we all make mistakes, and now he's trying to get everyone to hate me. He is starting to play these manipulative games that he plays, the ones I've been trying to get away from this whole time. Now here, Froot is basically accused her ex-husband of emotional abuse, but she didn't provide any proof of this claim. And as a result, a lot of people saw these posts, rumors spread that she had cheated, and they decided to condemn her right off the bat. And this rumor eventually turned into a 5 guys meme, where it was like 1 guy, 2 guy, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys, very similar to the Caterino Call Me Carson drama from years
What the hell? What?
ago. And this became a big contention, a big meme in the VTuber community, a big point of controversy for her, a big thing people would shit on her for, call her, you know, every name under the books, or whatever, stuff like that, all that good stuff. But Froot recently decided to succumb to the pressure to try to justify her actions by releasing a 90-page Google document. And I feel like nobody actually read this document. I feel like not a single person who's commenting on it has read this document, because they're all saying, boo-hoo, you cheated on your husband, boo-hoo for you. But if you actually read the document, this guy is a piece of shit. Now,
yeah, okay, so I know a little bit about this, right? I know a little bit about this drama specifically. Wow, what a perfect freeze frame. But the dude is an actual piece of tool. You know, he is an actual piece of tool, to be honest. It's crazy, to be honest.
Now, before I get into this, I do want to give a big disclaimer here that I don't want to go out of my way to defend everything Froot has ever done. I don't really like Froot that much. But my main problem is that if you actually read this document, assuming that everything in it is true, which it may not be, realistically, it's very hard to criticize Froot for doing what she did, considering what this guy was doing. My main criticism is that everybody covering this didn't even read the document itself. So just take these allegations with a grain of salt before moving forward. Don't go out of your way to paint Froot as necessarily an amazing good person, because she very well might not be. Froot is able to show clear examples of her ex-husband attempting to coerce her into performing sex acts that she clearly did not want to engage in or perform with him, and he kept going despite that and trying to manipulate her. And I'm not using that terminology lightly. I don't like making like false allegations, but assuming these DMs are real in the first place, frankly, there's no context that can make them better. He is not good guy. He's a not good guy, okay? She first writes, my ex was adamant on trying a form of sexual activity. I constantly said no. Even when he made jokes about it, I was still serious in saying no. He didn't respect my decision. When I went offline after I told him a number of times and expressed my disappointment with the statements, he painted me as the one in the wrong for not being comfortable with him pushing past my boundaries. The next day, I woke up to his messages implying he wanted to commit suicide over me exercising autonomy over my body. But this...
What? Excuse me? The next day, I wake up to his messages implying he wanted to commit suicide over me exercising autonomy over my body. What? Just because she didn't want to do certain sexual activities, you're gonna pull the I'm going to commit suicide? Really? Like, what? It's so weird. Oh man, dude, that's terrible, to be honest.
This is a big claim to make, right? This is a huge claim to make. The idea that he was like, I'm gonna buy a rope if you don't let me put it in the butt, right? That's a huge claim to make. And also the claim
that's so weird.
It's a big deal. So let's see if she can prove that. In these specific messages, she starts off by saying, I don't want to try it. He says, you're gonna try it, fight me. She says, no, I'm not, I will fight you. He says, yes, you are. Now, these DMs obviously can be written off as a joke. It's not that serious. It could be kind of a whatever thing. But as we read more, we're gonna see just how desperate he is to try to emotionally manipulate her into having this kind of sex with him. In this screenshot, he says, oh yes, so lucky. I ended up with a woman who won't try something everyone else tries. I've never f***ed a woman. And then we have a redacted word there. I don't know if that's like raw or like in the, you know, I don't know what the specific sex act he wanted to do was. We're getting a little degen here, but I don't know what it was. But essentially, there's some kind of thing that she won't do that he's very intent on getting her to do. And as a result, he starts off by saying, I ended up with a woman who won't try something ever.
Sounds like he deserved the cheat case closed, roll the credits, move it along. Yeah.
Acting as though everyone else does this thing, therefore he is entitled to her body. He is entitled to doing what he wants with her. She says, oh, now you're trying to guilt trip me. That's not fair. He says, yes, absolutely, straight up admitting it. And she says, I don't want to. And despite these messages where she is clearly unwilling to do this with him and has no interest in doing it, he continues again and again and again, desperately trying to convince her to do this with him, and even trying to make her feel bad for not doing it. Here she says, you're quite obviously wanting to leave me over saying no to whatever the sex act is, and yet you're still trying to turn this around. He says, but you were up for trying, now you're just flat out saying no. She says, I've always said no, but you didn't listen. He says, it's a letdown. She says, this conversation's a letdown. In our next screenshot here, she says, here's him further trying to make me feel bad for saying no. So let's see if she can substantiate that claim. He says, good, I'm glad I let you down because now I know where we stand on how far you'd go for me versus how far I would go for you. Here she says, redacted is going somewhere for you, so I'm not allowed to say what I'm uncomfortable to do. He says, you don't have to, but know that I won't die without trying it at least once. And she says, God forbid you ever try to blank me without my consent, essentially referring to the sex act. Like, you don't really have to read between the lines here. There's not like a lot of deep analysis that's needed.
Jesus Christ, holy cow.
You can literally just read the DMs and see that he is desperately trying to convince her to do this thing with him, and she won't do it. And as a result, he's trying to make it seem like he is owed this act. He's entitled to whatever he wants to do to her. And on one hand, I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, well, why didn't she just leave? And like,
I'm not gonna lie, this model looks really great on her, though. I'll be honest with you. I've never seen any of her streams or anything like that, right? She looks, this model looks really great on her, though.
Like, obviously, while that is kind of true, you can technically leave a relationship. I mean, they were married, so it's not...
You know, it's kind of funny. The art style reminds me of the VTuber model that we saw or so on Booth. It actually kind of reminds me of it, actually. I wonder if it's the same artist or something like that. It's interesting.
as simple as that. And on top of that, why couldn't he just not pressure her into having some kind of sex that she didn't want to have? Why couldn't he just not do that? Like, why couldn't he just not do that in the first place? It makes no sense. He's making it very clear to her that their relationship hangs in the balance. And if she says no in these next messages, he says that he's going to cheat on her if she doesn't do this with him. So everybody who's mad about the fact that Froot apparently cheated is somehow missing the point that he right here is threatening to cheat on her if she doesn't let him, like, put it in the butt, which is crazy, which is insane, which is absolutely insane. Here she says, so you're gonna F someone else then? He says, maybe at some point. She says, what are you trying to say? He says, maybe it'll be after you die, but it's going to happen. She responds with, you're gonna drag this out for as long as possible till you decide to leave me? And he says, I just don't see the point of a relationship that doesn't try things they're uncomfortable with. If it ain't this, it can be something else one day. Once again, he's acting as though because they're in a relationship, he is entitled to get her to do something that she's not comfortable with. Like, that's not how, like, consent and sex is supposed to work. Like,
what the fuck, are you serious? Oh my goodness gracious.
Thanks
me
for the 5-month resub, Sakura Zoku. Training comes first, but we'll miss having you around. Best of luck with your endeavors, and remember, gaming fun awaits when you return.
Hey Sakura, thank you or so. And for 5 months or so. Sheesh. Well, take care, hun. Be safe.
you know, I hate to bring this out, but the women don't owe you shit meme, like the Ethan is online thing. I mean, it is literally true. It is, you know, used by Ethan in a very cringe context, but it is true. You know, women don't owe you sex. Women don't owe you whatever kind of sex you want to have.
Yeah, of course.
Owe you anything. He's literally telling her, look, I need to do whatever this is, okay? I need it so bad. I need it now. And if you don't give it to me, I'm gonna do it with someone else, or I'm gonna wait until you die, and then I'm gonna do it with someone else. When someone clearly expresses that they don't want to engage in a sex act with you at all, the good response is to not persist again and again and again. It's to just leave it alone. If this sex act was such a big deal to him, then he should have been the one to end the relationship and find someone else, instead of trying his best to convince her over and over and over again that, like,
yeah, like, if you want to do this sex act so badly or whatnot, right? Just end the relationship and just go find someone else who will do it, and that's it, you know? Like, that's it. She married is basically an incel. Pretty much, I guess, you know? I don't know how to sugarcoat this. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't understand. Why don't you just, like, you know, just find someone else, you know?
Like, he is entitled to this because they're married. And the conversation only gets even more nuts from here. In these next screenshots, this is what he says. I wasn't aware you were such a baby. It's a wonder we managed to have sex. She says, it's not fair. He replies by saying, considering how scared you were of nature, you're right, it isn't. Society says we're forced to stick with one woman. Yet she won't support me in something she's not comfortable with. I forgot you're gonna chicken out of that too, because you love not experiencing anything for yourself. Keep in mind what he's angry about here is something that he's not getting to experience for himself that she doesn't want to do, and he feels like entitled to it. She says being scared is no joke. He says it isn't, but at some point you need to have courage. She says, when I'm ready on my terms. And here he responds with, if you're not going to die, what are you scared of? On your terms, nothing will ever happen. Like,
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
yeah, typically people don't die from sex or sexual assault, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be scared of it. That doesn't mean they should just cave to whatever anyone else wants them to do. Like, just imagine this conversation taking place in a room where this guy's like, you're not going to die from it. What's the worst that could happen? And she's saying, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And he's like, well, come on, don't be a chicken. Don't be a prude. Don't be a pussy. Like, This guy is a freak. This guy is an absolute freak. And all you have to do to tell that is to read the actual document itself, because he is insane. Here he says, I would give you shit, but that's about it. She says, right, you wouldn't say no, eh? He says, we're not equals like I assume we were. I put my money where my mouth is. And she says, but making me feel like I have to be forced to do something I'm completely uncomfortable with and stressed out about for the sake of the relationship, that's okay to you? And apparently that was okay to him, because he continued trying to pressure her to do something she didn't want to do. Here she says, you're fucked up.
Jeez, dude, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? As someone who has been in a relationship like this many times, it's sad how common this is. Really? Like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Like, if I'm ever in a relationship or something like that, right? And my partner doesn't want to do a certain sexual act with me, right? Like, at the end of the day, I'll just go watch hentai or go watch porn and just fucking imagine it, and then that'll be fine, you know? Shit. I'm suspecting he's into bondage stuff. No, it's definitely something have to do with, like, I think the most common thing that girls refuse or to have sex with is definitely in the ass or so. Like, I can definitely see that 100%. Like, it has to be that. It has to be that, like, 100%. Like, no way. Like she's 100% refusing it or so, you know? Yeah, I feel like it has to be that, because like girls, like even like everyone that I know specifically, they don't like doing it. So yeah, it's a common thing. So yeah, I feel like that's what it is. That's what he wants.
True. Here he kind of mistypes, but essentially what he's trying to say is like, telling you'll leave me because you cannot provide something I want. What he's saying is, you know, you can't provide something I want, so I have to leave you, otherwise I have to get it elsewhere, so you better give it to me. She says, telling me
I mean, yeah, a normal person would lol, but there are a large amount of peeps that only think about sex and nothing else. Well, I don't know. It's because like yeah, I have some personally, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I have some dark fantasies that I want to do, right? But if my partner isn't okay with it, right, I'm just be like, well, I'll just go read a hentai doujin, or go watch a hentai, or just go watch porn and just imagine it, and that's it, you know? That's pretty much it, you know? And then I'm done. That's it. So it's not like I'm gonna destroy. It's not like I'm gonna end my relationship just because she or he didn't like it, you know? So, and that's pretty much about it. So.
you're gonna cheat on me unless I do it. He says, that's fucked. She says, that's exactly what you just did to me. Quit pinning this around. You look like an absolute dickhole, and you do it too. And in this next message, he seemingly admits to pressuring her by referring to this as peer pressure, saying, you know what scares me? Being poor. Yet I don't mind being 2,000 in the hole, because I would do it for you. And what he's referring to here is the fact that he apparently spent $2,000 to travel to see her. And because he spent that money, he feels entitled to sex with her. In this specific form of sex, which she doesn't want to do. Here she says,
What? Okay, all right, buddy. Okay. No, she's into gender
it's
bend.
easy for you. He
Okay.
says, call it peer pressure, call it what you want, but you cannot provide. Here he says, you're being selfish. She says, so now you're throwing everything in here that's completely irrelevant? Here he says, because if you won't give it up, you'll leave me. She says, I'm not talking to you. I'm closing Facebook and getting on with my work, going to bed. You've upset me. In these next messages, he starts to bring up side, actually, you know, buying a rope.
Okay, so funny thing about this is a long distance relationship too as well. This is a long distance relationship. This isn't like, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting indeed.
Essentially threatening to end himself if he doesn't get what he wants. Here he says, I really may as well be dead. What a pointless existence I'll be living with you if you're afraid to go out of your comfort zone, or you'd rather see me dead or effing another woman before you do anything for me. Ever since this morning where you ultimately wanted to leave me to prove how serious you are, I've been contemplating slide again. Because at the end of the day, no matter how normal my life appears to be, it will always come crashing down and burning around me. Nothing will remain of what I had hope in. Nothing I care about survives the test of time. So if I don't stick around, I won't be on this earth. Like, he's literally in these messages plainly saying, hey, look, you know, there's this sex act. I know you don't want to do it, but if you don't do it, I'm gonna end my life. So you have to do it.
I guess
My
so.
life
He
hangs on the
does.
balance of you doing this, of you opening up your butthole for me. Like, this guy is a freak. This guy is a fucking freak. All of these messages are the definition of entitlement. He feels entitled to sex from this girl in whatever way he wants because they are married and in a relationship. This continues on with him threatening to leave her if she doesn't cave to his demands. He admits to pressuring her. He says that he's going to end his life if she doesn't do it. And you can go read this whole document for yourself with the same exact sources I just saw. I'm not making any of this up. I'm not taking it out of
What the
context. You can
fuck,
read the
dude?
full context of these messages right now on the internet, on Twitter, for free.
I always think that is the scummiest thing too as well, to use suicide or so. Like, to, you know, basically trick somebody and, you know, to get what they want. Or so that's the most dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, to be honest. I've never done anything like that, to be honest. I've had a relationship or so where they had me choose them or my my because I was playing VR chat during the time or so. I had like a small VR family or so, right? So he was basically making me decide either stay with him or stay with my VR daughter. That was basically like he was forcing me on the spot or so to choose either him or to choose my, you know, and I was the medium. I was the medium, right? Trying to cool him down and trying to basically trying to mediate the situation or so, to trying to explain what really happened and everything like that. But, you know, he's so emotional because he's young. He's young. There's a difference because he's a young boy or so, right? Well, I say that because, you know, the way how he was acting or so is so fucking immature. So he's a young boy, right? Because he claims he's a man, but quotation marks man, but the way how he was acting or so was so emotional. It felt like I was talking to a woman or so who was on their period. That's basically is what it felt like, you know. So cool. Who are you gonna choose? Us, chat, or Dustboard right now? Shut the fuck up.
Okay. So after I read this, I was like, wow, this guy actually sucks. He was a piece of shit to her. Frankly, I don't really feel bad for him getting cheated on. Should you cheat in a relationship? No, obviously not. I don't particularly care if she does cheat on him, whatever the case is, because, like, it's just not my problem.
Yeah.
But from these messages, I think I can 1000% justify her cheating on this guy with 5 to 1,000 guys, given the fact that he was pressuring her into sex and trying to manipulate her by threatening suicide. And when I was reading this, I was like, wow, so I guess everybody should come away with the same conclusion as me, right? But no, it seems like basically nobody actually read this, or everyone who read it is fucking retarded.
And people actually, there were apparently a dozen or so people that actually read all 90 pages. And after they looked into it, they found out that, in fact, she was the one that had cheated on her husband while he was on deployment. So if you look at the engagements here, let's read some of these. And I'd be pretty mad too if my wife fucked 5 different men instead of me. She put out a twit longer begging for attention and looking for you know, approval for cheating on her fucking husband. It's crazy. So anyway, I know how valuable time is, and I won't take up too much of yours. You should have had that at the start rather than the end.
Wow. That is some stunning research there, Asmongold, you know. Some people read the 90 pages and figured out she cheated on him while he was on deployment. Well, surely he's going to cite his sources here, right? Like, he's going to have some good justification for this. He's going to have proof that it happened on deployment. He's going to have proof of, you know, this 5 guys claim, or at the very least, he's going to, like, look into the document and, you know, try to figure out what's going on. And, like, I mean, there's this whole 90-page document that's been released. Surely, if he's reporting on this, he feels he has an obligation to delve into the drama and understand what's happening.
This is definitely a big L on Asmongold, 100%. This is a massive L on him, on his you know, on his fucking side or so, saying these things because they're not true. So this is definitely a big L. So
at the very least, before he passes judgment.
Were apparently a dozen or so people that actually read all 90 pages.
For context, Asmongold made this clip private, probably because in hindsight he realized that he sounded like a retard.
Oh, so it was a clip video that got privated because then he found out the backlash because it was not true of the actual situation, because he decided to only read the tweets, like the quote retweets and the engagement, and that's pretty much it. Wow. Damn, dude. Damn.
No, apparently not. So to Asmongold, listen, I like some of your takes, okay? I don't think you're dumb all the time, but clearly this time you were. So
yeah,
frankly,
no, he was dumb.
My takeaway from this is that before you pass judgment on a situation like this and post a video to YouTube that gets millions of views, you should actually read about it. You should actually do the bare minimum fuck all research for it instead of relying on random meme tweets for research. Or
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, like no joke. Like honestly, even if it's a 90 page document or so, I would read it, because I read the other documents or so from the past dramas that we watched or so. Like I literally read them like on my off time. It took like a day or two or so, right? Because sometimes I have some things to do, right? That's more important that I need to do, right? For like the channel, for the YouTube and everything. But I read those documents and go through them, you know, and come up with my final conclusion on the situation.
If you're not going to do that, then go back to eating cockroaches or something.
He's on my belly. Look at him. He's right there. Oh, God.
But this is not the only person who has had a take like this, okay? A fellow commentary channel who I like, who I've interacted in a friendly way with, WestJet, has also been on this cockroach eating diet. And today, we get to react to this epic video, guys!
So this VTuber actually cheated on her husband while he was on military deployment, might I add, and then wrote out a 48-page paper on why he was the bad guy. I'm not making it up.
He is the bad guy. He literally is the bad guy. If you read the document, he is the bad guy. Like, unquestioningly, he is the...
So far, these two, Asmongold and WestJet or so, are taking a massive L on this situation, actually. So, and yeah, also good job on the Asmonator to take it down or so, to take accountability on that situation.
The bad guy. She is not the bad guy. Like, what do you guys think is worse? Genuine question. Cheating on someone or trying to pressure them into having sex that they don't want to have? I would say the pressuring. I don't think that's a hot take. I would say it's probably the pressuring. I would say that is undoubtedly worse. Undoubtedly worse. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Internet's reaction was wild. Stay tuned. And you betcha, she starts off with the whole shaboing, includes mentions of domestic violence and calls it an abusive relationship. Oh, and there's actually 90 pages, including screenshots and everything, so I lied to you. Blue Mark is the guy, and low-key he was cooking. Dumbass, I don't want a useless wife. Why get married to a VTuber then, bro? I'm gonna make an assumption here that might tickle a lot of your pickles, but if you watch VTubers, you are either mentally ill, chronically online, or gooning.
True. That is true. Okay? 1 point to WestJet. True fact stated. I completely agree with that point. Now, let's see if he...
I kind of have to disagree on that. Like, there is some merits to it, but like, just some people like to hang out with VTubers who are just cool, you know, at the end of the day, you know? Like, I'm not much of a gooner type. I'm not really here fucking cum blasting on the fucking screen, you know? So, you know, it's not like I'm fucking making like sexual jokes almost 24/7 all the damn time. Like, will I throw it sometimes here and there? Of course I will, you know, because I throw it sometimes here and there because that's just how I am, you know? That's how I grew up with certain friends, you know? I just throw a sexual innuendo from them, so, you know? Like, honestly, like, it's not that crazy, to be honest. And my chatters are not mentally ill either, so my chatters are pretty cool people, so, you know, call out Co for friendly fire. Like, even then, like my chatters are cool people that I think they're pretty mentally stable or so, and they're not, you know, I prefer not to have the weird parasocial thing in my chat personally, or in my community in general. I'm just not a fan of that. I don't like it. I hate it. I don't really, like, can I technically be the most overpowered VTuber and use the parasocial, you know, the parasocial mentality to my favor? Yeah, I can totally do it. But I have a responsibility as an actual fucking adult, okay? And not actually cave into those actual situations and don't fucking take advantage of people who are in those actual bad mentalities, you know? I'm just not, you know, I'm not with that thing. So, like, honestly, like, I just don't push it. I don't instigate it, and don't do anything of that situation, okay? Like, that's just not my thing, okay? Sorry, you know, so... Some of us are crazy. Yeah, but he's talking about, like, the actual crazy, mentally crazy ones. Agree. I'm pretty sane.
If he's able to
Shut the fuck
analyze
up.
the factual basis for all this.
Jesus Christ, chat.
Hey, there's me in the video, okay? Hey, maybe he's gonna have a good take, okay? He's taking inspiration from me personally, all right?
What
He's gonna
the
do
fuck?
his proper research, all right? He's a big fan of me. He loves me. He's gonna do the right thing.
What is up, Sigmas and Ligmas? WestJet 6'5", Venezuelan trillionaire here, and today we're talking about cheating drama. Oh, and literally 0% of you are subscribed, so be sure to subscribe. Yeah. Put your pitchforks away. I'm gonna say something controversial. Cheating is bad. I cheated on my husband who was on military deployment. Now let me tell you how I'm actually the victim. Gets caught cheating. He was abusing me.
He literally was. He literally was. That is literally the argument. He was doing that. He was pressuring her into having sex that she didn't want to have. He was saying he would kill himself. He was saying he would kill himself if he couldn't put it in the butt. Did you people even read this? Is this just like engagement?
Yeah.
Is this just
Yeah.
Is that it? Did any of you read this document? WestJet, did you read it?
You are what's wrong with the world. Surprisingly so, there was a lot of people actually defending her behavior too, and shocker to nobody, they were also VTubers.
Yeah, her behavior actually can be defended if you actually read the document. I'm not a VTuber, okay? I hate all VTubers. I'm defending her behavior. I'm defending it right now. I do not care that she cheated on a guy who tried to force her to have sex. Sorry.
I'm so proud of you. You're one of the strongest and kindest people I know. Oh, your husband who's there in Afghanistan fighting for the country? A loser.
He is actually a loser, though. That guy is.
Yeah, he is. Like 100% he is a fucking loser because he decided to trying to force his girl here, you know, trying to do something uncomfortable that she doesn't want to do, you know? Like what the fuck is wrong with that? And he kept pressuring it over and over and over and over and over again. And also like trying to say, "Oh, I'm gonna, you know, yeet myself," you know? It's just like, bruh. It's like, "Oh, dude, this code to choose us or chat or just born." Man, shut the fuck up.
Is actually a loser. That guy is.
I'm gonna
like,
smack you.
What is with this weird narrative people are going with? Where like, if you've ever served in the armed forces, you're like some great person who can never be shit on ever. Like, I have respect for the military. I have friends who, you know, have served, are serving. I think it's a good.
Not
thing,
a real
but, like,
man. Definitely not a
acting
real
like
man.
These people are like gods who are infallible.
Especially being a you know, just like how they said it in Full Metal Alchemist. You know, if you get this reference or so, the dog of the military. You know, so if I say dog of the military, it's because it's from Full Metal Alchemist. So yeah, he's a dog of the military, but he's definitely not a good dog of the military. I'm gonna be honest with you. So.
because he's on deployment, he hasn't done anything bad. If you just read the document, you can see what he did.
The funny thing is, he was the one who dumped her, and she's releasing this Unabomber-sized manifesto after. After he manipulated me into feeling I can't live without him, he broke up with me every time.
True.
Sister, you cheated on him.
Why do you just keep saying that? Are people just gonna keep saying you cheated on him? You cheated on him. Are you retarded? What is wrong with you? Do you have a WestJet? Did you read the document? Did you just skim it?
I feel like they did not read the document, because if they actually did read the document, they would have understood immediately what the actual situation was. So, is she married to him? If so, I would get them divorce papers so fast. I think if I remember correctly, I remember seeing a video or so where he forced her to marry her because she didn't want to say no, because she was scared that he would do something to her. So she basically accepted it, and then, well, you know, they became married, and then, you know, so forth, you know. So yeah, no, there's more to it, because I saw a video talking about it, of the situation itself, you know.
This is your job. This is what you get paid to do. Like, did you not read it?
And it gets worse. She calls cheating exercising autonomy over her body.
No, she did not. No, she did fucking... Are you... Okay, I actually have to pull up the document at this point in time, okay? This is actually insane. This is actually fucking nuts. So the context of her saying that was not that cheating is her exercising autonomy over her body. The context of it is that he was trying to pressure her into having sex with him.
Yeah.
In a way that she didn't want to have it.
Yeah.
So she says, when I went offline after telling him a number of times and expressed my disappointment with his statements, he still painted me as the one in the wrong for not being comfortable with him pushing past my boundaries. The next day, I wake up to his messages implying he wanted to commit suicide over me exercising autonomy over my body. The verbiage is right there. And if you actually see the screenshots themselves of what he said, that is literally what he said.
Yeah.
You can't make it up.
You did make it up. That's literally what you did. You made it up, WestJet. You made it up. What is wrong with you?
The next day, I wake up to his messages implying he wanted to commit Sudoku over me exercising autonomy over my body. Yo, that's some destiny.
Okay, are we just gonna meme here? Are we gonna like substantively respond? When she says autonomy over my body, what she's talking about is that he was trying to pressure her into having sex, and she didn't want to do it. That is the definition of autonomy over your body. It's not, I wanted to cheat on him and he wouldn't let me do it. That's not even what it is. That's literally not even what it is. Like, did you even, WestJet, did you even read it?
Anyway, people made some memes. A woman after cheating, my husband was...
Wait, that's it? That's your analysis of this document? That's your... Okay, there's got to be more. Come on. I'll watch the rest of this video for charitability purposes, but... Like, are you... Do you have a brain?
Abusive, or actually I didn't want to do it, I'm sorry, uwu, it won't happen again. And you know, give it to Twitter to turn this issue of cheating, which we should all unanimously agree on, into like a full-blown gender war. It doesn't matter what gender you are. You could be an octopus, for Christ's sake. Getting cheated on sucks. It's a universal experience. Just ask my wife.
So anyway, I know
He's just gonna play the Asmongold video of Asmongold not even understanding what's going on. Is that what we're gonna do? That's what we're doing? Really? No way.
how valuable time is, and I won't take up too much of yours. You should have had that at the start rather than the end.
Love or hate Asmongold, he's cooking because
He's cooking.
No, he's
90
not.
pages,
No, he's
bro,
not.
ain't
Not in,
nobody
the,
got
not,
time
not
for
in
that.
this
Yeah,
video.
apparently not even you do. To do your fucking job, WestJet. It's your job.
That's probably so. Remember, right? Usually, if there's a clip channel, like because he has a clip channel, right? Asmongold has a clip channel, and you know how like he has clips or so up from his main videos that pop up into his clip channel on YouTube or so. So that means there was going to be a video about this situation that was going to come out on his main channel, but since there was getting so much flack or so on his clip channel, they decided to completely cancel it and said, hey, you know, that's not how it's supposed to, that's not how it is whatsoever. So
job to report on this stuff. Like, you have chosen this as your job of choice, and for some reason you skipped over the part, which is right at the beginning of the document, by the way. It's not like buried in it. It's right there where he is trying to convince her to have sex he doesn't want to have. Do you actually have a brain? Are you fucking retarded? Holy shit.
Were apparently a dozen or so people that actually read all 90 pages, and after they looked into it, they found out that in fact she was the one that had cheated on her husband.
Oh, and it gets worse, trust me.
And I'd be pretty mad too if my wife 5 different men instead of me.
Yeah, you heard that right. 5 guys, no burgers, no fries.
By the way, WestJet is making this claim. He probably gets mad about false allegations. There's no proof for the idea that she cheated on him with 5 different guys. There's literally none. What WestJet...
yeah, there's even from like watching this, just so there was no, even because I watched a different video too as well about the situation itself, and there wasn't any, there was nothing that ever brought that up ever about this 5 guys thing or so. You know, there was literally nothing about it.
is doing is he read Twitter and he was just like, oh, Twitter must be right. He didn't even pay attention.
That's
Wake
so
up.
dumb.
Stop hitting the fentanyl.
In Fortnite terms, she was knocked 5 times before the storm came in.
All right, I'm sorry. This video is fucking retarded.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think I've made it pretty clear now that...
Yeah, I would have immediately stopped watching the video too as well if I kept hearing more of this, to be honest.
The people who are like reporting on this didn't even read the document.
Yeah.
It took me like probably all of 20 or 30 minutes to read through the entire thing and clearly see that he was trying to pressure her into having sex. And she didn't want to do it, and he continued doing it, and he threatened suicide over it. That is the definition of manipulation. That is the definition of...
Yeah, I don't know why would you ever trust Twitter. You think that they are correct, bro. Like mostly like about like 95, 98 or 99% of the Twitter people never read documents that are super long. The 1% people that actually do understand it, but the other people who actually don't, it's just come on, dude. Like, seriously. Bro saw Twitter comments and took it as facts. Obviously, the internet never lies. I know. He has an extra chromosome.
Frankly,
Yeah.
I like WestJet's videos, but I never had like a lot of respect for his research in the first place, and this only once again confirms that to me, because he is literally just regurgitating what retards say on Twitter and not substantiating any claim that he makes. And Asmongold as well is just like, apparently 12 people read through it. Wow, shouldn't you be one of those people? Shouldn't you be number 13? Isn't this your job? If you're gonna make a claim about someone which is like potentially career ending, people are trying to like end Froot's career over this. Shouldn't you be the one that's like looking into this shit? Like, I hate to be soy about it, but this is such a clear cut and dry example.
Yeah.
I don't really feel bad for this guy getting cheated on because he tried to pressure her into having sex when
Of
she
course.
didn't want to. I don't feel bad for him at all. In fact,
I'm on Fruit's side for this situation, actually. I like 100% I am on her side.
I wish he had done it again just for retribution, because that would have been funny. Now, I think it's also worth noting here that it's kind of too early in these allegations to say if this guy is like 1000% guilty of this. I mean, ultimately, there are a lot of really damning screenshots, but, you know, maybe Froot is lying. Maybe there is some greater context here we don't understand. I think it's hard to imagine that right now, but that could be the case. But my bigger problem with this is the coverage around the situation, where it's very, very obvious to me that Asmongold and WestJet clearly did not read this document at all,
Yeah.
and yet decided to talk about it out of their ass. At the very least, if they're going to make claims about it, I think they have an obligation to actually read the document before they publicly report on it. In the case of WestJet, to hundreds of thousands of people, and in the case of Asmongold, to literally millions of people who are frothing at the fucking mouth to see this girl go down. It could.
It's just the problem is that a lot of people just don't like Froot or so, because I guess she has she's been in some controversies. I don't really know about the controversies, to be honest. Like I said, it's none of my business. I could care less, you know. And like, I got my own problems, okay? All right, I have my own problems. I don't need to deal with someone else's shit, okay? You know, they're an adult. They can handle it, okay? They do what they gotta do, you know, shit. You know, hey man, if they want to talk to me about it, they can come talk to me about it, okay? But you know, at the end of the day, if they don't tell me about it, you know, and I see some Google document or something about this, and I'd be like, all right, you know, I'll take a look at it. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's still not my business. So, but yeah, I did know some of it. I did know some of the actual situations. I didn't even watch any of these other videos or start talking about the situation itself. Like I said, I haven't been on Twitter for the past, like, you know, almost a week now. So I didn't hear about this whole situation or so, but I am on the side of Froot or so, you know, controversy or not controversy. I am definitely on the side on the Froot or so for this situation itself. And the guy is a total dick. Like, he's a total tool, 100%, you know.
Could very well be the case that in the future, this guy will come out with a response. Maybe she'll be proven to have done the same exact thing to him. Maybe there will be other contexts we don't understand. That is possible. But I feel like if you're going to cover this stuff, you have to do it relatively impartially rather than just like say, oh, she cheated on him. That's it. End of story. Like, that's clearly not the end of the story here. There's a lot more here.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's a 90-page document. It's not like she fucking put like in big capital letters, she cheated on him for throughout 90 pages. No, come on, people. Let's be honest here.
So yeah, that's about it. Bye.
Yeah. Like honestly, like I love, you know, I love TomDark. TomDark is definitely one of my, you know, as you know, he doesn't like me because I'm a VTuber, unfortunately, but I do actually like him because he's a pretty logical person. I have watched a lot of his content or so. I haven't subscribed to him because I should actually, but I keep forgetting or so to do it. I might as well do it now anyway, so. I just kind of forgot or so to do it in the past or so. I just kind of like enjoyed watching his videos, but he is a pretty very logical person at the end of the day. So I don't hate the dude, you know. He was definitely like he's a pretty old YouTuber, you know. So yeah, but anyways, that's pretty much it. So and yeah, like I said specifically, like people, I definitely am on the side of Froot for the situation. So. Bro, try the forbidden suicide is. As someone who serves in the military, some of the most degenerate people I know are service members. I have had a displeasure of serving with. Women don't owe you shit. Yeah, sorry, Tom. You're supposed to validate my near criminal incel beliefs unsubbed. What? You're forgetting the biggest crime of all. She's British. Is she British? I don't even know, to be honest. Is that what she is? Is that what Froot is? Froot is actually British? I didn't even know, actually. I thought she was, well, actually, I don't really know. I thought she was American or something, so. I don't really know at the end of the day. Like I said, I don't know. Honestly, Froot and her husband both seem like very unpleasant people, to be honest. Honestly, I don't really know anything about Froot, about the situation that she's been in the past, so I have no idea. I'm like completely like in the loop or so with the whole Froot situation that she's been in the past, so. But hey, you know what? Like I said, as long as they don't do me wrong, I'm a-okay. You know, I'm not gonna hate you if you don't do me wrong, okay? But at the moment you start, you know, double crossing my back or so, and you did some shady shit behind my back or so, you know, I'm gonna be like, nah, man, nah, fam, I'm not cool with that. We ain't friends no more. So, and that's pretty much about it. So, anyways. Yeah, I don't really care if it's a big creator or a small creator, but if they talk like some shit or they done something behind my back or so that I am not happy with or some other shenanigans, nah, I'm cutting it right there. So the big thing people like to hit on Froot is from the Wizard game because she threw under the bus Silverveil. That's what I've heard. That's what you heard, but you didn't see any evidence or anything like that if it's true or anything like that. So. Like I said, that's what you heard, but hearing is not belief, not seeing it and believing it with your own two eyes. So Unless I see an actual VOD or so of her saying it or a tweet or something that she said it, like I said, you know. And the charity afterwards, I don't even know, to be honest. Like I said, I don't know any of the situations, so. No, because I don't care. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, honestly, I just have my own problems that I have to deal with. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of the video. You guys can comment, like, subscribe, do all that fancy, jazzy stuff. You guys can let me know down in the comment sections or so, because I do read the comments about the whole situation, you know. I have enough with my shit. No, heard she comment on Silvervale stream. She did? Oh, I have no idea. I don't know where that's at. If you could give me the VOD or so for that, I'll take a look at it. So I don't know shit about Froot. Don't care, didn't ask, but at the same time, what she did to that weirdo isn't as bad considering the circumstances. Oh yeah, no, 100%. Like I'm A-okay for it, you know, that she did that to a piece of tool like that, to be honest. Like I've had someone who was making me choose between, you know, him and my VR family or so back a long time ago or so. I had that situation or so it was just kind of like, ugh, you know. But anyways, yeah, that's the end of the video, and peace.